Hello, I'm Nadine Barge, President of the Woodland Creek Residents Association. I am calling the virtual annual meeting of the Woodland Creek Residents Association to order. Julie, our Lifestyles Director, suggested that the Residents Association use the YouTube for showing the virtual meeting in the chapel. The chapel has room for 21 people to view the video at one time. Therefore, we are providing a sign-up sheet for each of the 5 showings, Monday through Friday. There can be 20 people in, 5 times 5, we've got places for 100 people. You just have to sign up early. The ballot sheet will be handed out at the meeting to be filled out and collected at the end of the meeting to be counted at the end of the week, so we can tell you then who has become one of our board members. If there are any questions or comments for me or other participants, please write them down and place them in the question boxes by the elevator. The questions then will be delivered to the appropriate participant for response. Now, I will be at the video, and I can help you if needed. If anyone would like to see any past minutes of our meetings, like the August 12th one, please contact Gail Zompa, who is the treasurer. Minutes of this meeting will be placed in your cubby within 14 days.
Good afternoon. I'm John Swartout, Vice President of the of the Residents Association Board. Same thing. And I want to thank you for turning out for this virtual meeting. I wanted to explain a little bit about the nomination process. A note was put in your cubby soliciting nominations to fill the 2 vacant positions for directors on the Resident Association Board. Those were returned, and we have 3 candidates, and you will be hearing from them further on in this presentation. When it comes time to vote, we ask that you hold your ballot until each of the candidates has made their presentation. You may find out something about one of your neighbors that you didn't know before that would make them the best candidate in your opinion. So in all fairness to the process, we please ask that you wait to turn in your ballot. Only those members of the association who are dues paying will be allowed to vote. And you recall that we usually re-up our dues in the fall, but the board has decided, with everything going on, that if you have paid up your dues through this year, you will be a member in good standing until the first of the year. So there's no worry about not having paid your dues because you are current. The ballots will be collected at the end of each session, and they will be counted after the last session has concluded, except for the mail-in ballots, which may not be counted at all. I'm teasing. There are no mail-in ballots. On a personal note, I want to congratulate us, but especially the staff of MRC, for keeping us safe through this awful pandemic. And I know how tiresome it is to wear these masks, to not be able to greet each other the way we used to, not to get together in big groups like a resident association annual meeting. But I would like to make a personal plea for everyone to please continue following safe practices. Just remember, if your mask is off your nose, it's not doing you any good, but especially it's not doing me any good, and I'm very selfish about that. They're hot, they're a pain, but if you believe Dr. Fauci, and I do, it's very important that we do that we socially distance ourselves from one another, and that we wash our hands frequently. That basically concludes my remarks. Remember, only mark your ballot for 2 of the 3 candidates who will be on the ballot. The candidates are Sandra Greasy, Bob Prusner, and Walter Wills. The outgoing members of the board have elected not to stand for re-election, even though the bylaws permit it. So those are your 3 candidates. Make your choices after you've heard their presentations. And we thank you very much for helping us run your association.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Krusak, this year's chairperson for the Employee Appreciation Fund for 2020. We're nearing the end of a year that's been very different from anything we've ever experienced before, and I hope we never have to go through anything like it ever again. But here at the Crossings, we've been safe, well cared for, and certainly well fed. Our wonderful team hasn't let us down, and they've been working harder than ever, keeping us happy and safe and having great attitudes and sometimes even a little bit of humor, especially when we need it. They seem to know that. You should have received a letter from me last week with a little more information about the Employee Appreciation Benefit Fund. If you have any additional questions, please call me about it. But I wanted to remind you that the time to give to this year's fund is drawing to a close. November 29th is our cutoff. To date, only about 60% of the funds that we collected last year have been donated. So if you choose to contribute to this worthy cause, please be sure that your gift is in the box by the deadline, November 29th. Anything that's donated after that will be put aside for next year's appreciation fund. The box is on the concierge desk in the independent living side, and I hope it will be filled. Anything you choose to give will be greatly appreciated. I wish you all a blessed holiday season.
Good morning. My name is Walter Wills. Jane and I live up on the 3rd floor in 3127. We moved in October 30th, 2015. Sometime after we moved in, several months I guess, Lauren decided we needed a residents association. Lauren was our lifestyle director before Julie, and she got some bylaws from other places and we started studying it. Started out there were probably 10 or 12 people, but after 2 or 3 meetings we were down to the glorious 4. Bob Holton, John Schwarthouse, Gene Taylor, and myself. And we constructed the bylaws, we got them approved, and for the first couple of years we were elected to the board. I've been on the board for 3.5 years. Half year was when we were writing the bylaws, and off for a year. I was a president for one of the years, so everybody may hate me for that. I enjoy helping others, and that's one of the reasons I'm on the board. Got on the board in the first place. And we have the board of directors has a ruling that you can't serve more than 4 years at a time. So I got off. Now I've been asked to come back on and said, sure, I'll do it. But if it turns out that you guys vote for somebody else, I will not be depressed. I will not be all hung up. It's okay with me if I lose. But here I am running for the board. And by the way, before I leave, I want to tell you that the Employee Appreciation Fund needs more money. I'm sure that in the process of the meeting they'll give you all the exact details, but we don't have as many people living here as we did last year. So if you can afford it, I'd like for you to dip in your pocket just a little bit more, because all these employees around here, considering the pandemic that we have had to double and triple up their work, but they have kept a smile on their face and they have been very pleasant and very pleasing to work with. So remember them if you can. And for now, I'd say thank you for your time, and we'll see you at the meeting.
Hello, I'm Bob Prusner, a happy 5-year resident of the Crossings. I'm running for one of the directors' position of the Residents Association. I asked for your vote. The reason I'm running is to obtain significant suggestions to improve the acoustics of the existing chapel so that all the residents can understand the spoken word without destroying the existing beautiful architecture of the chapel. Thank you very much. Now, can you hear me now and understand me? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sandra Grease, also known as Sandy, and I've lived at the Crossings for 3 years. It's an honor to be a candidate for the Resident Association Board. I retired after 38 years with the Air Force as a civilian. If elected, I'll use my years of Air Force leadership experience, my willingness to take on a challenge, and my 11 years of nonprofit service to help our community in any way that I can. My thanks to the board members, to the board candidates, to all residents and the staff for making the Crossings a great place to live. Let's work together to make it even better. Thank you.
Hey, how is everyone out there? Well, again, time for me to give you kind of an update about what's going on here in the community. First, I would like to apologize. I am never told what day I'm going to be doing this, so obviously I'm quite embarrassed that I am in a New York Giant Eli Manning jersey. So it's Friday, November 6th. We're all dressed in our favorite sports teams' shirts or uniforms, and so I feel embarrassed that I'm doing this dressed like this, so please forgive me. Hey, wanted to talk to you again. I'm going to lead off this with the coronavirus. It's spiking again. It seems like every time I'm looking into this camera and talking to y'all, it's spiking. You know, yesterday the country had its record number over 115,000 new cases. Houston, you know, had a close, or not, excuse me, Texas had close to 10,000 again. So I'm just going to ask you guys to be prudent with, you know, keeping with this, wearing masks when you can, being socially distant. We're all tired of this. You know, we're going into the 8th month. I'm tired of it. You know, I've got my mask here. You know, I hate wearing masks, but I feel that, you know, it's good to keep the virus out of here. We've done a great job as a community. You guys, everyone, you know, we have not had any residents that have tested or that have had the virus. We did have 1 or 2 false positives, but we've kept the virus out of here, you know, and so again, going forward, I think it's going to be a difficult flu season, a difficult winter season. So I just ask everyone to, excuse me, to just keep the faith. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. I'm going to ask people, all of a sudden I've been told by a number of people that people are starting to prop exit doors open, you know, so that way you don't have to come all the way down. I know it's a pain to park your car and walk, so, you know, a lot of you are just, you know, bringing your cars here where it's almost like we have a valet service going on right now. I parked a lot of your cars, you know, so, but please, let's not prop the doors open down by the elevator, you know, elevator A. It's just a safety concern, and again, I just want to make sure that we're not allowing people that shouldn't be in this building into it. Hey, Thanksgiving's going to be coming up soon, so you're going to be getting some information. It's going to be different. Last year, I think that we did 80 people for Thanksgiving brunch, 35 residents and 45 family members. This year, family members are not going to be allowed to come into the dining room. reminder that 2 essential visitors can come in for Thanksgiving. So if you want to bring, I guess a daughter or son and their spouse or something and eat up, in your room, you just have to make sure that Leah and the team know about it. We'll bring food up to you. But you'll be getting a number of communications and correspondence with how it's going to be done. And so if you've got any questions, come see me, come see Leah, but more information is coming out about that. Christmas season. We made the decision this week that we are not going to have an associate Christmas party. The last couple of years, we've gone off-site and just had kind of a bash. We've enjoyed it. We've had fun. But it just didn't seem, right to be talking about, hey, let's be prudent. And then us all go and have a big party at a restaurant or something. So we have canceled our plans for the party. I think right now we're going to be, I'm sharing stuff that maybe I shouldn't right now, but I think what we'd like to do with the associates is somehow do an associate independent living resident party together. We're kind of family, and that, hey, why don't we just try to do this? We'd have to do it socially distanced. We'd have to spread it out. My vision of it could even, bringing some of the party outside. Get a tent out by the pool deck. Put food in the chapel and the bistro, and independent living, and maybe even the front drive. But if we're going to do this, and more to come on this. But we're going to spread it out, and so that somehow we're going to do something like that. Again, making sure that the virus is not out of control in this area. That could kind of nix any plans that we have. But it looks like we're going to be having our party with you. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy that. Trying to think of anything else that I need to say to you all. Over on the healthcare side, I just want to give a shout out to the team over there. They're just doing a great job. We have started essential visitation over in the healthcare halls in memory support and assisted living. Last week we had over 40 families were able to get together. Really, some of them for the first time in 7 or 8 months, to give their family members a hug. Lots of happy visits, and lots of tears. It's been tough on that side of the building. On your guys' side, you've been able to go in and out. Over there, some of those folks hadn't touched their family, and since the start of this, back in March. Our trailer, which got a lot of press, Channel 13, I think Channel 12. That's going great. Lots of visitors coming. So really have been able to open that up. I feel really proud of the effort that the team's done over there to get the families back together. So it's really working well. I'm just trying to think now off the top of my head of anything else globally that I need to share. I think that's it. I can't think of anything. I'm in here listening to the mailman slam all the mailboxes shut, so maybe that's my key that I need to stop. But again, if anyone has any questions regarding anything, as we're moving forward, to end of the year and then going into 2021, come visit me. I've got some great ideas from you all, and so just come down and visit. Hope you all stay safe, and you all take care.
Hi, it's Julie, your lifestyle director, and here we are coming to you via video once again. And as much as I would much rather see your smiling faces all lined up in the chapel, that is just not possible due to COVID. So here we are. I think this is our 3rd recording, and I hope that it's informative, if anything else. So I just wanted to follow up with some of the things that are going on in our neighborhood. Our food drive is going on, and just a little bit more details about the food drive. It is benefiting a Methodist retirement community. It's benefiting our affordable housing department of Methodist retirement communities. So they have a food pantry for their residents, and that is where all the food will be going this year for our food drive. So if you have not seen our thankful tree, when you leave the chapel after this meeting, look over into the puzzle room where the TV and sitting area is across from the bistro, and you can see our thankful tree there, and that is where all of the food drive donations are going for now. And we hope to fill that tree and be able to provide some nourishment and food to help our residents at the affordable housing communities. So please help us there. Thankful cards going with our thankful and Thanksgiving theme this month. We have I am thankful cards on the elevator B, right? B, I always have to talk about it in my head to figure it out. So elevator B on your floor where the question suggestion baskets are, the dining cards. You will also see these cards. Please feel free to write what you're thankful for. It can be anonymous. You can include your name, however you would like, and you will see it in the daily update, and everybody will be able to read what you're thankful for. And you can fill out more than one. So please look for these and tell us what you're thankful for. Christmas, yay! You know, the most wonderful time of the year, my favorite. So Christmas trees. We are adding 3 trees this year to our Woodland Creek neighborhood by elevator A, and only on floors 2, 3, and 4. With the traffic and the groceries and all the things that come in and out on elevator A on the first floor, we just felt like that would just make a hindrance for everyone. So on floors 2, 3, and 4, you will all be getting a Christmas tree by elevator A. We will be decorating the Christmas trees Saturday, November 28th, starting at 1 o'clock. And our new sous chef, baker, our new baker, Mac, is going to be baking us some treats. Hopefully, we're still working on that, but we were bribing you with all the cookies and all the things. So please come help us decorate Christmas trees. The sign-up sheets are already in the activity book. I had the question if you could sign up to decorate more than 1 tree. Please do. We'd love the help. So if you can decorate 1 and you have the energy to help and move on to another tree that maybe doesn't have as many helpers, I would love that. So just bring it on. Bring, your little elf hats and your Santa hats, and we'll play Christmas music and eat Christmas cookies. It'll be fantastic. Keeping with the Christmas theme, we are starting to plan our Christmas and December activities, and because of COVID, it is going to look a little bit different this year, but we're hoping to keep some of the traditions going that we have in the past. So we definitely will still be having our balcony decorating contest. We will have our Christmas door decorating contest. We will have some sort of sweater and socks, something, whether that's during our wine delivery, we will see. But we are working our little brains and trying to think of ways to still make Christmas a fun and joyful time of year. So if you have any ideas, please feel free to just pop in my office or write me a little note. And I would love to hear your suggestions and ideas on things and ways that we can continue to celebrate Christmas. So I think that is all I have for you today. And again, I would much rather be saying all this to you in front of you and laughing and hearing and seeing your smiles. But I hope that you will stop by and see me if you ever need anything. That's why we're here. Have a good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. It seems like I haven't talked to you for like 8 months. Oh yeah, we haven't. So I have really missed our town hall meetings, and I'm sure that you have too. I always get together, I enjoy getting everybody together, and there's a neat dynamic that happens during those times, and I miss that. So second best is I have Julie as my audience here, and I get to talk to a magic black box. So it's good to see everybody out there in TV land or in the chapel. We're doing this, I guess, so it's good to talk to you. I do have a couple things I want to run over today, a little different than usual, perhaps. But I first wanted to mention about COVID, and I wanted us to please continue to be vigilant in our dedication to wearing our masks, doing the things that we need to be doing, purposeful social distancing, especially when you're away from campus. I'm pretty comfortable here at our campus because everybody's done such a great job of staying away from outsiders, quote unquote. But please remember, when you go out, do your very best to do social distancing, wear your masks. I wear my mask everywhere, still, to the grocery, to the gas station. Even if I'm the only one around, I wear my mask. So please, please, for the benefit of yourself and everyone else, let's continue to be vigilant during this time as we purpose to get over this, hopefully the last hump of COVID. This year for the Crossings is a big anniversary date. This is a 5th year anniversary for the Crossings, and I know that you know that. We've talked a little bit about it. I know that I celebrated my 5th anniversary with Methodist Retirement Communities here on May 1st, and that's pretty cool. But there are 2 other people that I really think that you may want to recognize for that as well. One of them is Debbie Zienti. She has been here with me, or I with her, from the very, very beginning. She's been here 5 years. She's been here longer than 5 years. And she was an employee with another company before Methodist Retirement Communities, but she's been here on this project since the inception. The other person that I wanted to mention today is very special, and because she cleans half of your houses, and that's Deborah Verastegui. And Miss Deborah, she would die if she knew that I was mentioning her name to all of you today. But if you know Miss Deborah, I wish you would congratulate her on 5 years of the service that she has provided here. Miss Deborah was actually the very first person that I hired for environmental services for this campus. So she was literally here cleaning mud up off the floors at the beginning and end of every day as construction workers were still tramping through our entrances. So please, if you get a chance, thank Miss Deborah for her service. This is a big year for her as well. Many of you have asked about the greenhouse. Yes, it is slowly getting done. It's the project that won't go away, but we are getting to a good spot. We finally have gotten all of the missing glass replaced. I'm not going to say all of the broken glass. There's a few cracked panes that will actually remain. It's a greenhouse. It's glass. It's almost never going to not have cracks. And I know that's a double negative for you English teachers, but you just have to understand it's going to be like that. So we've gotten the shelves done inside. All the missing glass has been replaced. We will definitely have a few more things to do with that. I've got a nice letter from a resident the other day asking about lights. Yes, I will put a light in there, I promise. I don't understand the need for a grow light. It's outside. We don't generally put grow lights in places where we have sunshine. So the light would be there for people that want to go out in the evening and work, or in the very early morning. The light would be for that use. We definitely will have water in the greenhouse. And we definitely will have heat for the greenhouse as well. So obviously we still have to run those utilities out there, but you'll be seeing that happen probably during the next month or so. We're going to try to get that all accomplished. And that's all I really have in terms of the physical plant. And I wanted to share something different than I normally do with all of you. Sometimes we forget that MRC stands for Methodist Retirement Communities. So we are a faith-based organization. And one of the beauties, if you will, of being part of a faith-based nonprofit organization is we get to talk about spiritual things here. And it's just been very interesting. We've had such a very, very difficult year with COVID. And we've come through this, or are still coming through this, most difficult election cycle. And there are times, actually, even among staff, and most of you know that I generally have around 20 staff, and we have daily huddles and all that. And there's been times when, during this year, the stress levels have almost been palpable. And you can probably imagine, young parents trying to cope with children getting schooling at home or schooling at school or online, they don't even know. So daycare, quote unquote, child care, everything, how do I get my groceries, all of these things. And then to have the challenges of this election year with all of the rhetoric and all that's gone on with it. And I wanted to share with you one, it's not really a trick, it's a foundation that I use. And when I become really frustrated and I'm feeling isolated and I'm feeling intellectually and challenged, what I like to do is I do what I call go back to the basics of my faith. And I go back and I grab some scripture that harkens to one of the tenets of our faith. And so I thought I would just take a minute today, share a little of that with you, give you a little scripture reading, and then the briefest of thoughts. So I'm going to read to you today from the New International, or actually it's the English Standard Version, and it's from the book of 1 John, and it's chapter 4, and I'm going to read verse 7 through 12. And it reads this way: Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. In this, the love of God was made manifest among us, that God sent his only Son into the world, so that we might live through him. In this is love, not that we have loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God abides in us, and in his love is perfected in us. So this is the thought. When I grab back onto these things, I call these, as I mentioned, like pillars or pilings. Here in the South and in the Bay Areas, we are familiar with pilings as those huge chunks of concrete, reinforced concrete that are driven into the ground to build on. So those go down into the ground and they don't move. They stay there. They're always there. And they give us something to anchor to. So my thought today for you about this passage is to remember that God does love you and that he sent his Son for all of us. But our response to that is to love those around us. And sometimes that's a challenge for us because we don't like the people around us, or we don't like their sets of beliefs, or we wouldn't do things the same way that they do things. But that's not what this scripture is talking about. It says that we have to love, and we have to love. If we truly are calling ourselves children of God, we have to love. And if we can focus on that, it's amazing how many other things slide away. And it's amazing how when we think about that and get a grip again on that piling or that anchor point, it helps us to bring back into focus some of the other things that we're struggling with and that are swirling around us that sort of make us feel like we're in a vortex that just won't stop. So that's my challenge for you today. I just am challenged to challenge you to find that anchor point again. Get regrounded in your relationship with your God and Savior, and then reach out in love to those around you. So that's all I have, folks. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all you do, and we'll look forward to the time that we can get together again as we get past COVID and all this other nonsense. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.